Did one of the biggest podcasts on the planet just accidentally expose the darkest secrets of a Hollywood legend? For decades, she was the undisputed queen of daytime television, the warm, smiling face telling millions to be kind to one another. But what if that entire empire was built on a lie? When Joe Rogan, a host who has sat across from cult leaders, serial criminals, and the world's most unpredictable figures without blinking, suddenly went quiet during a discussion about Ellen DeGeneres, viewers knew something was deeply off. Rogan barely pushed back. He barely spoke. He called it creepy. And that silence ignited an internet firestorm that is completely changing how the world views her fall from grace. People are going back to old footage with entirely different eyes. Behind the scenes, former employees describe a workplace run on pure fear, where staff were allegedly ordered to never look her in the eye. But the allegations don't stop at a toxic workplace. The internet is now connecting dots that reach into the highest levels of power and suspicion. From mysterious Epstein file details, where strange food codes like beef jerky and specific locations like Red Hook are being endlessly dissected, to viral theories about hidden symbols inside her multi-million-dollar mansion. People are rewatching that famous 2014 Oscars pizza delivery moment, where she collected money from men like Harvey Weinstein and Kevin Spacey, and seeing a completely different story. Add in her bizarre, cold daytime interview with the Las Vegas shooting witness using a car antenna, and the terrifying, haunting final words of her ex-partner and Hetchy, who claimed powerful forces actively tried to silence her before her sudden, horrific, and deeply mysterious death. And the picture becomes undeniable. Did Ellen DeGeneres just get caught in the ultimate Hollywood cover-up? Let's dive into the evidence and break down what really happened behind the scenes. To understand how a beloved media icon became the center of some of Hollywood's most unsettling theories, you have to go back to the moment the illusion started to shatter. For nearly 2 decades, daytime television was dominated by one persona, the fun-loving, dancing, warm-hearted host who signed off every single episode with a simple plea: be kind to one another. Millions of households tuned in every afternoon, treating her show as a safe haven of laughter and feel-good stories. But behind that bright studio lighting and colorful decor, a very different reality was quietly brewing. Rumors had circulated around Hollywood inner circles for years. Quiet chatter among crew members, comedians, and industry insiders that the sweet public persona was nothing more than a carefully crafted character. The public dam finally broke in 2020. Dozens of former employees came forward with explosive allegations describing a workplace atmosphere dominated by fear, intimidation, and toxic management, a stark, jarring contrast to the "be kind" motto sold to the public. Not long after the internal investigations and public outcry, the show officially came to an end. But the end of the show didn't stop people from talking. In fact, it only made people look closer. And that brings us to the Joe Rogan experience. Joe Rogan is a podcast host famous for his unshakable demeanor. He has sat across from cult figures, extreme conspiracy theorists, controversial politicians, and unpredictable guests without losing his cool or holding back. He is known for challenging his guests, dissecting claims, and pushing back when things sound absurd. Yet, when the topic turned to Ellen DeGeneres and the unsettling rumors surrounding her inner circle, Rogan's reaction caught millions of viewers off guard. He didn't debate. He didn't laugh it off. He barely spoke at all. As his guests brought up articles outlining her reputation for being notoriously difficult to work with, Rogan simply acknowledged that he had heard these exact stories circulating throughout the entertainment industry for years. He agreed that in Hollywood, these rumors weren't news. They were common knowledge. But as the conversation drifted deeper into stranger territory, Rogan used a word he rarely applies to mainstream Hollywood royalty: creepy. His quiet demeanor and visible discomfort signaled to viewers that this wasn't just typical celebrity gossip. Something about the collective evidence felt genuinely wrong. Former staff members who worked on the show eventually began sharing specific details about what daily life was really like in those studio hallways. One striking account came from a former worker who revealed strict, bizarre rules governing how lower-level staff were expected to behave around the host. They were allegedly given explicit instructions never to make eye contact with her when passing in the hallways. When she walks through the halls, you don't look her in the eyes. You don't make eye contact. You do not talk to her. Immediately after taping wrapped, she would be rushed straight out to her car and driven off, maintaining a total wall of separation from the very people who built her show every day. Then came the awkward on-air slips that proved the tension wasn't just behind the camera, it was spilling into the broadcast itself. One of the most viral moments in television history occurred during an interview with actress Dakota Johnson. On live TV, the host jokingly confronted Johnson about why she hadn't been invited to her milestone birthday party. Without missing a beat, Dakota calmly corrected her on air, stating directly, "Actually, that's not the truth. You were invited." As the host tried to play it off as a misunderstanding, her own executive producer stepped in live on camera to confirm that Dakota was telling the truth. The invitation had indeed been sent. The awkward tension in the studio was palpable. Viewers watched the host's friendly, relatable persona crumble in real time over a simple party invitation. But the story got even stranger when sleuths tracked down where she actually was on the night of Dakota's party. She was attending a Dallas Cowboys football game, sitting in a private suite right next to former President George W. Bush. When photos of the two laughing together went viral, sparking massive backlash from her core audience, she addressed it on her show under the guise of teaching a lesson about civility and being friends with people who have different political views. But critics saw it as another example of a powerful Hollywood figure operating in an entirely different social hierarchy, one completely detached from the everyday audience she spoke to on screen. As the public began reevaluating her past TV moments, people started looking at another infamous broadcast with completely different eyes: the 2014 Academy Awards. It was considered one of her greatest career highlights. As the host of Hollywood's biggest night, she pulled off a famous stunt by having a delivery driver bring fresh pizza right into the auditorium filled with A-list celebrities. She walked through the aisles holding Pharrell Williams' famous oversized top hat, asking stars to throw in cash to pay for the food. At the time, it was viewed as lighthearted comedy. But looking back years later, viewers noticed two specific individuals she targeted on camera for money: Harvey Weinstein and Kevin Spacey. In hindsight, watching her collect pizza money from two men who would later become the central figures in massive Hollywood sexual misconduct scandals created a chilling, surreal moment that internet sleuths couldn't ignore. The pizza moment took on an even darker second life online as internet detectives began cross-referencing public figures with released flight logs, address books, and leaked email archives connected to Jeffrey Epstein. While Epstein's vast network included countless high-profile names from business, politics, and entertainment, online researchers began pointing out strange overlaps within her broader social circle. During an episode of Rogan's podcast, a guest brought up a baffling detail. Part of the background set design from her former daytime talk show bore a striking, uncanny resemblance to architectural structures associated with Epstein's private island property in the Virgin Islands. When pulled up on screen, the similarities between the famous set backdrop and the distinct building design raised immediate eyebrows. Rogan and his crew carefully examined the images, noting how strange it was for a major daytime set to mirror such specific geometry. Furthermore, observers pointed to her decision to leave her longtime home and relocate overseas shortly after her show ended. While moving abroad isn't an admission of anything, when viewed alongside the workplace collapse, the bizarre set designs, the unsettling studio rumors, and her high-level political connections, the collective timeline began to look like a desperate attempt to put physical distance between herself and the unraveling Hollywood landscape. The curtain had officially been pulled back. The warm daytime television queen was gone, and in her place was a web of strange coincidences, toxic workplace claims, and mysterious connections that the public was only just beginning to untangle. As internet sleuths and podcast hosts began digging deeper into the documents released around high-profile elite networks, the investigation shifted from Hollywood studio halls to something far more bizarre: the strange, coded language hidden inside official email archives. When researchers began sifting through thousands of released documents connected to Jeffrey Epstein's inner circle, They noticed a recurring pattern of communication that made no logical sense on the surface. Full-grown, ultra-wealthy men were writing frantic, detailed emails to one another about food, specifically pizza and beef jerky. They were debating how many slices of pizza could be cut into, asking how many people were coming to a pizza party, and coordinating the delivery of food in ways that completely contradicted how normal human beings talk about eating. One specific email thread immediately caught the attention of researchers because of a geographical detail that couldn't be dismissed. Someone in the email chain asked if another man could go to Red Hook for a pizza meal later that day. On the surface, it sounded like a simple dinner plan. But a quick check of public corporate records revealed that Red Hook is the exact physical address where Jeffrey Epstein's Virgin Islands businesses were officially domiciled. It was the specific marina location where people would board boats to travel directly to his private island. Why were powerful figures emailing about meeting for a pizza meal at the exact obscure dock location where Epstein operated his offshore entities? Then came another word that sent shockwaves through online communities: jerky. As podcast guests dissected these emails live on air, the absurdity of the language became impossible to ignore. In one exchange, a high-ranking individual asked if someone could walk beef jerky over to another person. Another email requested that a specific bag of beef jerky located at a 71st Street property in New York be retrieved immediately, alongside more jerky from another associate's apartment. But the detail that blew the roof off the conversation was the temperature requirement. The sender specifically instructed that the beef jerky needed to be transported in a cold, insulated bag, or kept in a freezer. Anyone who knows anything about cured meat knows the entire purpose of making beef jerky, dating back to cowboys on the open trail, is that it is a dried, shelf-stable food that requires zero refrigeration. Why would billionaire elites need cold, insulated bags and chilled containers to transport dried meat across town? The absurdity peaked when emails revealed someone taking a jerky-making class from a chef working at a New York restaurant whose name rhymed with Hannibal, the famous fictional cannibal, a restaurant that quietly shut down shortly after. To viewers and podcast hosts alike, these weren't casual grocery lists. These were glaringly obvious code words used by powerful elites to discuss the acquisition and transfer of something they couldn't name directly. And watching these revelations unfold made people reevaluate every single public move made by Hollywood's biggest figures, including the strange decor inside their own private homes. When a famous clip of a tour inside the host's private mansion resurfaced on social media, viewers weren't looking at the luxury sofas or high-end kitchen appliances. They were staring at the walls. During an Instagram Live broadcast showing off the interior of her house, sharp-eyed fans began analyzing the massive paintings hanging in her rooms. According to multiple online commentators, several of the featured artworks were created by an artist known for incorporating dark, ritualistic symbols into their pieces. Viewers pointed out specific geometric patterns, specifically distinct triangular shapes, that closely match symbols historically associated with occult rituals and dark summoning practices. In one particular room, 3 distinct pictures hung together, with text subtly spelling out the word revenge. The unsettling atmosphere reached its peak when the tour moved into the dining room. Standing next to a massive wooden dining table, she looked at the camera and made a joke that left viewers thoroughly creeped out. "This is the dining room and kitchen. If there's any kind of, not major surgery, but we'll do surgery on this table." She then casually added that the biggest medical operation they had performed on that table so far was an appendectomy. Whether intended as a bizarre attempt at dry humor or not, the clip went viral, fueling further speculation that the atmosphere inside her inner circle was far from normal. It was precisely these moments that prompted Joe Rogan to call the host's behavior flat-out creepy. During his podcast, Rogan brought up a specific daytime broadcast that he found deeply unsettling: the post-tragedy interview following the devastating Las Vegas concert shooting. The primary security guard from the Mandalay Bay Hotel, Jesus Campos, the only key witness who saw the shooter live, gave only one main sit-down television interview. He didn't go to news networks or investigative journalists. He went on daytime television. Rogan watched the footage in disbelief as the daytime host brought out a bizarre visual diagram of the hotel layout. Instead of conducting an empathetic, emotional interview asking how the witness was coping with the trauma, she pulled out a long metal car antenna, literally snapped off a Buick, and used it as a pointer to demonstrate how the shooting happened. Dressed in a strange, militant-style outfit complete with an excessive number of wrist buttons, she pointed around the board like a drill sergeant. Rogan openly questioned why a daytime host was wearing what looked like a Langley-issued military uniform, holding a stolen car antenna, and conducting a cold, mechanical breakdown of a national tragedy on a show meant for lighthearted entertainment. But the most damning voice in this entire saga didn't come from podcast sleuths or internet theorists. It came from someone who actually lived with her ex-partner, actress and Hetchy. Before her tragic death, and Hetchy broke years of silence in a series of deeply emotional interviews. Hetchy claimed that for over 2 decades, she had been systematically buried, canceled, and blacklisted by powerful Hollywood systems simply for trying to speak her truth. According to Hetchy, the daytime queen's public image of warmth and love was a complete fabrication, alleging that her ex-partner was living someone else's agenda rather than her own. Hetchy even made the chilling allegation that her ex-partner and her own mother had conspired to have her institutionalized in a desperate bid to keep her quiet. When the host celebrated the 20th anniversary of her famous coming-out episode with Oprah Winfrey, Hetchy revealed that she was completely erased from the history. Visual footage from their joint Oprah interview was tightly cropped to erase Hetchy from the frame entirely, despite Hetchy having sacrificed her own blossoming film career to stand beside her at the time. Hetchy boldly stated that every time she tried to expose the truth, the machinery of Hollywood moved to crush her, ensuring that the Queen of Kindness remained untouchable. Then came the horrifying conclusion. Shortly after speaking out so openly about her past, and Hetchy was involved in a violent, high-speed car crash in Los Angeles. Initial reports and official statements claimed she was declared dead or brain dead at the scene. But news helicopter footage captured live from above told a vastly different story. As firefighters pulled her body from the charred wreckage and strapped her onto a gurney, the sheet-covered figure suddenly sat upright, wildly flailing and trying to get off the gurney before paramedics forced her down, sedated her, and rushed her away. She was officially pronounced dead shortly after. The disturbing footage left the public with terrifying unanswered questions. If she was dead on scene, how did she sit up on live television? Why was the narrative controlled so tightly? Was and Hetchy's sudden, horrific, and a tragic accident? Or was it the final, dark price of trying to pull back the curtain on one of Hollywood's most protected figures? The unsettling helicopter footage of and Hetchy sitting up on that gurney was more than just a shocking news clip. It became a symbol for millions of viewers who felt that the official story around Hollywood's elite never quite added up. When you step back and look at the entire timeline, the narrative surrounding the daytime queen transforms from a simple celebrity downfall story into a complex web of influence, protection, and silence. For over 20 years, an entire apparatus was built around her image. Network executives, powerful publicists, major media outlets, and high-profile studio heads all worked in unison to maintain the illusion of a harmless, dancing, feel-good figure who brought comfort to millions of homes every single afternoon. Anyone who attempted to challenge that image was quickly handled. As and Hetchy explained in her final Raw interviews, the consequences for stepping outside that pre-approved narrative were swift and merciless. Hetchy detailed how she was systematically blacklisted, losing movie roles, endorsement deals, and financial stability simply because her presence threatened to expose a truth that didn't align with the corporate branding. Major television specials celebrating milestone moments were actively re-edited to crop Hetchy out of history altogether. It wasn't just a breakup. It was a total erasure carried out by an industry that protects its biggest assets at all costs. This brings us back to why Joe Rogan's quiet reaction on his podcast resonated so strongly with millions of people worldwide. In the world of modern media, Rogan occupies a unique position. He doesn't rely on studio sponsors, network executives, or Hollywood public relations teams to keep his show on the air. He is one of the very few commentators who can speak freely without fear of being pulled off the air by a television network. Yet, When sitting across from guests who laid out these overlapping connections, from the toxic workplace reports to the Epstein flight log overlaps, the strange set geometry, the beef jerky and pizza coded email communications, and the bizarre ritualistic artwork inside her home, even Rogan seemed stunned into near total silence. Instead of laughing it off or dismissing it as outrageous internet rumor, Rogan's muted response spoke volumes. He acknowledged that rumors of her behind-the-scenes behavior had been an open secret in Hollywood circles for decades. But more importantly, his visible hesitation to dive too deep into the subject highlighted a reality that industry insiders know all too well. Certain names in Hollywood carry a level of influence that makes even the biggest media figures proceed with extreme caution. When you analyze the sheer number of coincidences and strange moments scattered across her career, it becomes clear why the public refused to let the story go after her show was canceled. The workplace culture. Dozens of employees detailed a culture of fear where lower-level staff were explicitly ordered never to look the host in the eyes, a bizarre command for someone promoting universal kindness. The high-level political shield. While portraying herself as a relatable everyday host, her inner circle included former world leaders, billionaire sports owners, and elite power brokers who shielded her from standard public scrutiny. The unsettling set and home decor, from daytime set designs mirroring private island estates to private dining rooms where she joked about performing surgical operations on her table amidst artwork featuring triangle symbols and the word revenge. The bizarre media encounters, the awkward, cold interview with the Las Vegas shooting witness, where she used a stolen car antenna to direct the narrative on a daytime entertainment show, dressed in what appeared to be military-style attire. The tragic fate of Hetchy, a former partner who spent decades warning the public that she was being buried by powerful systems, only to meet a terrifying, highly questionable end after finally speaking her full truth. As news of her decision to leave her longtime home and relocate overseas broke, many viewed it as the final chapter in a long, drawn-out exit strategy. Moving thousands of miles away from the epicenter of American entertainment provided physical distance from the mounting questions, the canceled daytime empire, and the relentless internet investigations that continued to connect nudes every day. None of these individual details, taken on their own, serve as definitive legal proof of illegal activity. In the entertainment industry, bizarre behavior, eccentric art choices, and difficult workplace dynamics are often brushed aside as typical celebrity quirks. But when viewed collectively as a continuous stream of overlapping events spanning over 2 decades, the pattern becomes far too consistent to ignore. The story of the daytime queen is no longer just about a famous talk show host who lost her show over workplace allegations. It has become a case study in how public perception is constructed, managed, and ultimately shattered. For nearly 20 years, millions of viewers trusted a carefully curated image of benevolence and warmth, unaware of the quiet deals, silenced voices, and bizarre connections operating just out of frame. Did Joe Rogan and his guests accidentally pull back the curtain on one of the most protected networks in modern Hollywood? Did Hetchy pay the ultimate price for trying to tell a truth that powerful systems wanted buried? Or is this simply the tragic unraveling of a massive media empire that eventually collapsed under the weight of its own secrets? As the public continues to revisit old footage, analyze released documents, and re-examine every piece of the puzzle, one fact remains crystal clear. The golden age of daytime television was not what it appeared to be, and the true story behind the curtain is far darker than anyone ever imagined. What do you think really happened behind the scenes? Do you believe there was a coordinated effort to keep these secrets hidden, or is it all just a series of strange coincidences? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories Hollywood doesn't want you to hear.